In prison, there's a lot of boundaries that are separated by, race and gangs, things like that. I can tell you this, when you're walking with a dog on a leash, they don't exist for you anymore.
Dog lovers, thank you for coming back to Rescued by a Dog, the podcast about dogs that have actually saved their owners' lives. I am Laura, author of the novel Not Just a Dog and host of this podcast. This episode is sponsored by Gnaws, making 100% natural dog chews that are single ingredient and rawhide free for your fur family. One thing I love about this company is that they are 4-ocean plastic neutral certified, and they're helping to literally remove plastic from the ocean. They're a family-owned business, oven baking simple, natural, and delicious chews and treats to promote dental health and relieve anxiety for pups. Check out naturegnaws.com, that's nature, GNAWS.com, to learn more about their products, including a monthly subscription box, and use coupon code PUP20 for 20% off your next order. Now, in this final episode for Season 3, I'm excited to bring you a story of transformation from Brian, who was in prison for second-degree murder when a dog named Flynn changed his life and guided him down the path toward redemption.
Hello?
Hi, Brian. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you see me and hear me well?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. We didn't get it, unfortunately.
That's okay. No worries. The most important thing is the audio. I've done it this way before.
Okay. This is amazing.
Let's start off by you telling me what dog we're going to talk about today.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about 4-year-old Flynn. He's the dog that I did train in Pawsitive Change and my family ultimately adopted. He's a German Shepherd mix. He's the Channing Tatum of dogs. That's what we call him around here.
I love that. Can you tell me, what is Pawsitive Change?
What the program consists of is a group of 20 men. This is when I first did it, was in 2017. 20 men, 7 dogs. Everybody that participated in the Pawsitive Change Program are incarcerated citizens, just like myself. They paired 2 men up to train a dog, and they strategically paired these individuals up based on the extreme differences that they have with each other, like whether it be ethnic background, whether it be a gang affiliation. Like, they consciously put individuals together that generally are not at the same time to train this dog together, which is just the genius of the program. So you spend 14 weeks with these dogs. The trainers come in every Wednesday: Zach, Scow, John Flores, Leah Marquez, like amazing trainers. They would teach us some techniques, assign us some homework, come back the following Wednesday and assess the situation. And we'd repeat that for the 14 weeks. At the time that I did become a part of the Pawsitive Change Program, I had been in prison at that point for 26 years. At the age of 16, I and 5 of my friends were convicted of a second-degree murder. We were charged as adults, and I received a 20 years to life sentence for that. This was at a period in my life when I was running with the wrong crowd. I had involved myself in gangs. I was struggling with a drug addiction. I was in really bad shape in my life at that point. And we went to a party one evening, and a big fight occurred, and I got hurt. Other people got hurt, and ultimately a man lost his life that night. It was a very, very tragic situation that I'm so remorseful for, and it's a huge part of what drives me today to be an asset to my community. I had not touched or been in any proximity to a dog in almost 28 years at that point, until Zach Scow walked onto the yard with that pit bull.
What was your life like right before you met Flynn?
Okay, so a few years before I actually entered the Pawsitive Change and met Flynn, I had decided that I was going to make some serious personal changes in my life. I wanted to represent, the child that my grandparents and my mother raised. So I began going to college, taking college classes, taking business classes. I would attend a lot of religious services on the weekends. I was more conscious of the music I listened to. And so I was really open to new things, to hope and change and redemption. And I wanted to come home and, be a stand-up member of my community and a good family man. So I walked in, I saw a Pawsitive Change sign up on the wall, and I was thinking, how the heck are they going to let dogs in prison? Like, it was unheard of. It was unheard of, especially the prison that we were at, which was like a real dangerous situation. But I signed up because, I'm open to things like this that time. And I thought, wow. So about 2 weeks later, I see this guy walking across the yard with a pit bull. And it was the most amazing thing. I literally saw about 300 men just come to dead quiet. And they just were watching, because some of these men haven't seen a dog in like 30 plus years. And he walked up and I was like, that's the dog thing. So I made a beeline. I walked straight over to Zach. I said, hey, Zach, my name is Brian. Like, I signed up for your program. And he said, we're excited to have you. Like, I would love for you to be in the program. And I shared a little bit about myself. And I said, hey, do you mind if I pet this dog? And he said, yeah. I get emotional, like, when I talk about this, because like I went down, like, and I just pet this dog, like, for the first time. And like I've said before, the only way I can describe it, it was like a spiritual experience. Like it was like my grandmother used to call them God winks, when things happen. It was almost like confirmation to me, like, you're on the right path, because it's hard to travel the path I was traveling in prison. Like, I was being a stand-up citizen. Like, I was, being a good person and like refusing to participate in anything negative. And sometimes that's difficult in there to do that. That's not always the coolest thing in that environment. But I did it, and I felt proud of myself, and my family was proud of me. So when I pet this dog, a spiritual experience, like, and it was the ironic part was the dog had a big scar on the top of his head. And I says, man, hey, Zach, how did that happen to this dog? He said, well, his former owner hit him on top of the head with a hammer,
Oh.
Yeah. And I shared with you in my prior life that, I was running in gangs and stuff like that. I had been hit in the head with a hammer before in a fight. I surely did not have the scar that dog did, but it was just the irony of it all, like, just added to the situation. But I learned in that moment, just in that short moment with Zach, I says, wow, I'm surprised this dog is so friendly. And he said, that's the thing about dogs. They don't hold resentments. They don't hold grudges. They're open to new days. And that was mind blowing to me at that time. It was mind blowing. So, Zach moved on to the next people, but who would have thought in that moment that I would have found like my brother, my mentor, one of my greatest friends, and I would have found my passion for life, which was dogs. So a month after that is when I met Flynn. He was 3 months old. They brought the 7 dogs in, and, I remember saying, he's a handsome little guy. So I remember thinking, like, I hope I get that one right there. It's just a confident, well-built tan, a little bit of white stripe, like a dark tan. Yeah, he has his little beauty mark like most shepherds do, right there by their nose. So ultimately, when they assigned Flynn to me, it was such a great moment. So the trainers would come in. I stood about 10 feet away, as I was assigned to him at that point, me and another gentleman. And I remember I kneeled down to call him to me. I don't remember who it was, which trainer it was, but they said, this moment is going to be just as special for him as it is for you. And I remember saying, come here, Flynn. And he came to me. Oh my gosh. Like the healing, involved in the moment, like like it brings out the best in you. Like it was such an amazing moment. Like it's like moments that, people chase their whole lives. I was in search of that my whole life. And here's the ironic part. Here's another part is, my grandmother had died about 4 or 5 years before that. And my grandmother was the love of my life. So it was the most, brutal experience. So And I remember, like, I made this connection years later. The love that I felt with Flynn, the unconditional love he showed me, the only person that ever matched that was like my grandmother. That's why I say healing. When I say healing, like just an amazing moment. And this is day one of the program. And there's many guys here that were, I'm sure, feeling the same, if not similar, emotions and feelings. So my only history about Flynn was that he was rescued somewhere in Fresno. He was in some kind of garage. It took 3 hours to, I guess, get him out, to coax him out. He would only take, when I met him, he would take about 5 steps. He would roll over and lay down. So he wasn't really walking. We're just training them to be canine good citizens, which is, basic behavior. Sit, come, stay, don't jump up and grab my food. Place, we do crate work. We do leash technique. So my partner was an African-American man from Oakland, which is, in Northern California. And we had met for the first time. I'd seen him around a lot, but we just traveled in different circles, did different things. But, great guy. I said, okay, we're going to train this dog together. Glad to be on board. Looking forward to working with you. So Pawsitive Change, what they did was they assigned us a document which outlined our daily activities. 6 o'clock, cell door opens. You go, you take the dog out, half-hour bathroom break. You put them in the runs outside, go back, prepare their meals. Like every moment of the day was regimented. So we each were assigned one of those, and we go to our partners, and I'll say, hey, I work in the kitchen in the afternoon. How about you walk Flynn, take care of him in the morning? When I come back from the kitchen at 2, I'll get him from you, and you can go do whatever you got to do. So you got to work your daily schedules out, which was awesome. So my favorite part was 10 o'clock till about 11:45, which was outside. We had a cool little park area set up, which was right there on the prison yard. But there was a gate that separated. But when we walked the dogs, we could walk them out onto the prison yard, onto the general population. And you just meet these people that in prison, there's a lot of boundaries that are separated by, race and gangs, things like that. I can tell you this, when you're walking with a dog on a leash, they don't exist for you anymore. I was everywhere. People would beckon me over there. Hey, come over here. Hey, I had a dog like this, and we'd share dog stories. And I can't tell you how many times I have a guy say, hey, I haven't touched a dog in 30 years, man. Can I pet your dog? And in that moment is to see like a man pivot and begin to slowly change his life. It's just like the first part of it. It ripples across the entire yard onto the officers. It does so much work, I mean, when you go into, which sometimes could be harsh and really strong environments, and you introduce 7 rescue dogs, we can all identify with wanting to need a second chance and being rescued and being neglected and unloved. Like, those were all the things that led me into this gang culture in the first place, was feeling neglected and abandoned and unloved. So for me to be able to learn about myself and gain my confidence and turn around and rescue a dog that I feel like I know what you're going through, but we're saving each other. That's the great thing. From 6 a.m. until 8:45, they can be in our cell where we choose to take them for whatever training or whatever assignment we have that day. When they do sleep in the evening, it's just in a crate about 10 feet away from our cell doors. We'd wake up early and we'd clean up the area. But when we would look through the window of the cell, Flynn would just be right there waiting. You could hear his tail hitting the crate. And they knew the times, and it was amazing. It was such a beautiful thing. He was a really nervous, really timid dog, but he was also really playful. So what I wanted to do was bring him out. And I remember writing down, I want his tail to be high. I want his nose to be up. I want him to trot and be proud. I wanted to grow with him. I wanted to like build a bond with this dog. So I remember the first week, I just, I'd get his leash and we just walk around. We just walk around, meeting people, talking to people, sharing stories, and just introducing him to people. And me and him, it was just like an immediate connection, like from the start. And one of the things too, it's, exercise, discipline, affection, usually in that order. And they know, I pled guilty multiple times of way too much affection, especially in the beginning. I'm starved to love. He's starved to love. Like, so I was breaking that rule all over the place in the beginning. And it's funny. They used to always get on me for that, but it was so hard. He's always, he very quickly became really an outgoing dog. Super playful. He was so popular on that facility right there. Everybody knew who he was. So when I signed up for the program, I would regularly visit my mom. My sister would come, and they're dog lovers. They have dogs of their own. So they were so excited about it. So the second I was assigned Flynn, they hadn't seen him. They didn't know anything about him. They says, what do we got to do to adopt him? I've been away. I've been incarcerated at this point, 25, 26 years. So just the thought at this time of me spending these 14 weeks with this dog, rehabilitating him, training him, and then sending a piece of me home to my family was like, we were so in love with that idea. So they immediately did the paperwork to adopt Flynn. I can tell you the day after he was gone, there's an emptiness that was so deep inside of me seeing that empty crate. Because I hadn't received love like that my entire life. I don't think I've ever received a level of love that this dog gives me from anyone. So I had been waiting and working like that was, I want to come home to my family. I want to be a good member of the community, but I wanted to get back to that dog. When he got home, they loved it. He loved it. He's such a huge part of our home, such a huge part of our home. He's the most amazing dog. Gets in all kind of trouble, but that's our guy. We love him. He's brought like so much joy and laughter to our family. 6 months later, I re-signed. When they left, I said, you guys gotta let me do the next one. You gotta let me do it. So I did the next one. That time I had a dog named Sheldon, who's also right here next to me. My mom and them adopted him as well.
What does Sheldon look like?
Oh, Sheldon's a little terrier. My nickname for him is Dumpster Shelly because I like when his hair is all messy and all that. Yeah, he's such a great dog. He's a really just quiet. He strikes me as like an old Englishman. I ultimately got out of prison. The last program, Pawsitive Change, I did, the last time I saw Flynn was maybe November of 2018. And I got out of prison on July 15th, 2022.
4 years.
4 years later. So I walked into the house. I have the video of it. I walked into the house. He just like walked up. He spent about 10 seconds and then just went nuts, went crazy. He was jumping all over. Like, yeah, he knew. It was beautiful. So I was just so grateful. I'm so thankful. My life is committed to dogs in any form that I can help them, whether it be training, rescue, dog sitting, I don't care. They're just, they have to be a part of my life. They're a part of my healing. Like I'm not a day goes by that I'm not surrounded by them, so like emotionally, it's unmatched. the level of healing and joy and peace that I have, the drive and ambition in life, and just to want to continue to do the right thing and be the best man that I can be. So much of it is attributed to that dog. Our walks are such a central part of my life, and to wake up 5 a.m, take him for a nice, 2-mile jog or something, and, do some place work or, just a little leash work with them. And to think like this is exactly what we were doing on a prison yard. It's such a beautiful thing. Like, my level of gratitude is overwhelming. The other day I went with a fellow trainer named Dante Farmer. I was in the Pawsitive Change Program with him, and he started his own business. And he goes, "Hey man, I want you to come on a training session with me. I need a dog." And I was going to bring Flynn, but the Uber driver would only allow a smaller dog. So I brought Sheldon. But it was probably the most proudest moment I've ever had in my life for a dog, was to see a dog from the Pawsitive Change Program going to help socialize another dog. This was maybe 3 days ago. I had Flynn on leash, and we're walking down the street, and there were 3 other dogs who were just barking across the street, going crazy to run at him. He just walking nice and slow, looked at them, looked at me, just kept going straight ahead. And I was so proud of him. That's my boy, This dog will literally, it's so funny. He like hugs you. Like, okay, he sleeps at the end of my mom's bed. So in the morning, I'll come in and I'll lay on the bed and I'll lay my head by his, and he lifts up his paw and he puts it around your neck. Very happy dog. Very happy dog.
If Flynn could understand human English, what would you like to say to him?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. It would just be simple. Like, I would just convey my love. Like, I believe as a spiritual person that, God puts people in situations in your place. In this case, for me, it was animals. It's one of the best moments of my life. It's up there. He's, and to be out here with him too, I just tell him I love him. Just tell him I love him.